Hello, yeah, hello. I'm doing this video to yeah. Look, I'm doing this video to say that um, yeah, no, I'm doing this video to say that that on Sunday I felt that the Bible verses were very it was very interesting about the service about Easter about Easter about the resurrection. It was very interesting. So I took a lot away from it really from the sermon on Sunday. I took a lot away and about running away, and do you know what I mean? I took a lot of things running away, and I just felt listening to that. I think it's really important to hear. It was really important for me to hear that because in the past I think things have been very hard for me, and don't get me wrong, things are still hard for me today. I mean, not getting messages read out on the radio, on Radio One Extra, it really does frustrate me a lot because I really enjoy getting involved on that radio station and other radio stations, Capital Extra and Capital. I really enjoy getting involved. I think for me, I love getting involved. That's that for me. I love to get involved. I like to represent my city. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's a national, it's worldwide, it's national. I want to represent my city. I want to represent my city for the radio station. I want to represent my city, but obviously it's all been taken away from me, and I think do you know what I mean? It's going to take a long time for me to get over it, and I just like I said, I'm hoping in the future. Like I said, I mean, listen, I made a mistake. Yeah, I hold my hand up and I say, look, this I made a bad, I made a bad, I made it was a bad mistake, and even with X, you know what I mean. Even with Twitter, listen. If I violated anything, right? If I have violated, yeah, then obviously I'll. Do you know what I mean? I'm a person who learns from my mistakes. Do you know what I mean? I want to learn. I and it's what I said in the last video. That's why I go to church. And again, this is why I go to church, and I did say this before, but these are the mistakes I'm referring to. Do you know what I mean? These are the mistakes I'm referring to. Now, that's the thing. I'm obviously, of course, I'm frustrated because I did make. Listen, I've made mistakes, and it's not rocket science, is it? It's not. Do you know what I mean? It isn't. It isn't rocket science. It's yeah. No, it's not. It's not. It's not rocket science. You know, I know what's happened. I know. You know, listen. If I have broken the, this is the thing. If I have broken the rules, um, if I broke the rules on X, right, then I'm gonna listen. I take full responsibility for it. I take full responsibility for it. Now, I don't know the details, but listen, I take full responsibility. I take full responsibility for what happened. I take full responsibility, right? I take I take full responsibility. I have to take responsibility. I have to listen. I don't need to speak to somebody because I listen. I know what's happened. I understand that if I have crossed a line, then so be it. If I cross the line, then that's what I've got. I've got to accept that I've crossed the line, and you got to take full responsibility for what you do, for mistakes. Your consequences. You got to face the consequences of your actions, and that's what I've been. That's what I've done. So, look, in the past, I've made numerous mistakes. Do you know what I mean? I've made mistakes. I made mistakes in me, the way things were at Greenbelt. I made mistakes there, and it's what I was saying before about my being happy, because obviously at Greenbelt I got really some things. I didn't react to the situations very well. I tried to be too involved with an individual and tried to be around them a lot, and that's the problem. That's why I want to be sensible in my actions. I want to be sensible. Because I would hate it if I can't speak to someone just because of so and so, just because of this. And that's the thing. I'm prepared to be patient. I'm prepared to be patient, and it has to be two people. Listen, they've got to want it to happen. I'm not just gonna listen if they really like me. That's the thing. You so you've got to take things in. You've got to be some. You've got to take things, and you've got to accept responsibility. You've got to take full responsibility. Now, for me, that's not easy. That's not easy. I mean, even when I couldn't use an account with, obviously that my church used. You know what I mean? Tried this time. I think not being able to use it. I think obviously being suspended, obviously temporarily for like a month. I think it showed. I mean, reflecting, it showed that. Listen, it taught me that obviously I have to respect. I have to respect what people want, and I think sometimes when you're unable to use something, a platform which you really like using. And don't get me wrong, I look at the church thing. It's really the tool. It's a really handy tool because no, it's a handy tool because you can catch up on. Obviously, I can watch we obviously over Easter we did a series over Easter. We've done a series, obviously the Ten Commandments over recently. We've done the Ten Commandments and just the tools and stuff like that. I think it's a really useful tool. I also look like in my job as well. I think and when I turned up late a couple of years ago when I was working at Sheffield Wednesday and I was late, I think it told me that listen, I need to start. And when I couldn't work at Rotherham as well, when I got sent home, it told me that listen, I realised that I made a mistake. I didn't give myself enough time to leave. That's why I try and leave. That's why I try and give myself enough time, because if I don't give myself enough time, I'm not going to get there on time. So listen, I have made mistakes in the past, and this is the thing. I have made a lot of mistakes, and I'm not perfect. I've said before, I'm not perfect, but the thing about me is I'm very honest. I always try and be honest with you. I always try and be honest. Like I always try and be honest about the referee. Sorry about that. So I always try and, yes, obviously this is like a general video really. So yes, I try and be honest in me in my thoughts on the game. Which, by the way, that is coming up, the game against Hull City. So, like I said, you can. Like I said, you can. There will be a video on. There will be video coming out. There will be some content coming out on that. Yeah, there will be some content coming out. Obviously, I'll be giving a breakdown on the game. Talking about the game on at the weekend, Sheffield United Hull City. I'll be talking about the referee. What my expectations are on the referee. So that's coming out as well. So like I said, yeah, there's a lot of content coming out in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks.